giving us an update on what is actually going to be happening for the cities of Oceanside and Vista on April 1st. So I wanted to host this information today or tonight because of the cities of Oceanside and Vista and their upcoming switch to Clean Energy Alliance. They're going to be the provider of electricity, and they already provide electricity for many North County cities that encompass North County, San Diego. So many of you receive cards. I don't know if Miles, you could put these are cards in the mail about the clean energy choices. For many of you, it's the first time you've ever heard about these entities and what they're doing. And so we just want to make sure, this is to fill in the gaps of what we're in this. Actually, one of my neighbors brought this card over to my house and said, "What is this?" And unfortunately, I tossed it away already. It had a whole bunch of writing. I wasn't clear what they were doing. So anyway, so many of you receive these cards, and hopefully we're going to clear up some questions and answers tonight about what is actually happening. If you're living in San Marcos, Carlsbad, or Escondido, you are already buying your energy through a Clean Energy Alliance. And you may not even know it, but that happened several months ago, the switchover. And if you live in the unincorporated area here of North County, you belong to a different type of community choice aggregation called San Diego Community Power, which is similar to Clean Energy Alliance. So on April 1st, Oceanside and Vista are going to join the coalition. And as a ratepayer, you're going to have the option to opt out of the Clean Energy Alliance, and you can remain with SDG&E as your provider of buying electricity. And this is just the electricity you use. SDG&E is still going to be controlling the distribution lines and things like that, and they're going to be providing electricity. But you have the Clean Energy Alliance. You're going to be seeing what they provide, and they're going to be reaching the goals of cleaner energy sooner than SDG&E is. But you have the option to opt out, now if you're in Oceanside and Vista, and potentially in other areas, and maybe go back and forth between, but we'll get to that later. So the Clean Energy Alliance actually provides an alternative to SDG&E as far as purchasing electricity, who you're purchasing your electricity from. Cities have already joined or are joining this April, are going to do so primarily because their city councils have elected to join these Clean Energy Alliances or these other organizations. So many residents, I guess, are still unfamiliar with this. So I've asked the Clean Energy Alliance to come and present tonight and provide us some background on who they are and what is actually going to be changing and what you might see in your energy bill. So I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Greg Wade. And after he finishes up, I'm going to kind of summarize again what he presented and the information to hopefully maybe clear up anything he may say or just make sure everybody has a better understanding. And then we're going to go to questions and answers and try to answer that. So Greg Wade, he is the CEO of Clean Energy Alliance, and he and his team are going to explain how this works and what's changing with your electricity bill and what the Clean Energy Alliance is providing. So, Greg, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And if you could take it away and with your presentation, we're looking forward to it.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the introduction, Supervisor Desmond. It's good to be with you all this evening, and I'll start sharing my screen here. Okay, it's disabled. And Miles, would you mind?
Yeah, Greg, try it now here.
Okay, thank you. Ready. Okay, we all see this.
Yes, we've got you, or at least I do.
Okay. Well, again, thanks for having me, and I appreciate the introductory remark.
Greg, we had it, and then it went away.
Okay, let me try this again. Screen share.
It's got your just kind of, it looks like the slide list now. There you go. Now you got it back.
Is this better?
Yeah, it's just still your desktop if you want to make it full screen, but yeah. I mean, we can see it, so, oh,
Do this again then. I want to make sure we just have that window. Is that better?
yep, there you go.
Okay. So again, thank you for your time, and pardon the technical difficulties here. So what are CCAs? Community Choice Aggregation. So CCAs are governmental entities that were formed by cities and counties to procure electricity for their residents, businesses, and municipal facilities. This was created as a mechanism for local governmental entities to aggregate their energy load on behalf of the customers, residents, and businesses by Assembly Bill 117 in 2002. And it allows, as I mentioned, local governments to procure energy, aggregate that customer electrical load, and provide it to its customers. And the law as written in Assembly Bill 117 requires automatic enrollment unless customers opt out. And in the case of this CCA, there are also options to opt up to a higher renewable energy content or down to a lower renewable energy content. I'll get into that in a second. So as the supervisor mentioned, so what happens here with Community Choice Aggregation, and this our Community Choice Aggregation is called Clean Energy Alliance, or CEA. It's a nonprofit entity. So what we do is we procure energy on behalf of the customers. We purchase energy directly from power providers, and for some of the older CCAs, we actually generate or create generation facilities to provide that energy. Again, as the supervisor mentioned, SDG&E continues to deliver that power over its transmission lines and infrastructure, and customers continue to receive one bill from SDG&E. There's nothing that changes about the bill other than CEA would replace the energy generation side of the bill. There's two portions of the bill. The delivery charges, which are the delivery, transmission, and distribution, which SDG&E will continue to provide, and the energy generation charges, which CEA would provide in this case, and it would be on the same bill. And then you can receive that energy at competitive rates from CEA. Right now, we serve 7 cities in the North County area, or to be clear, we will be serving Oceanside and Vista coming up starting in April. That will be a total of 250,000 customers. And here you see the map for the CEA territory. Clean Energy Alliance governance, as I mentioned, we're a nonprofit public agency, and we're formed. We have a board that we respond to that is formed by members of the city councils of each of the member agencies. We had a very strong preference by the founding agencies of CEA to have a one board member, one vote, no weighted vote structure. There's also, each council provides an alternate board member in the event that the primary board member could not attend a board meeting. Board meets once a month. We also have a community advisory committee made up of community members, 2 members from each of our 7 cities, and they provide input to the board as on issues and programs that are directed to it by the board of directors. And that community advisory committee meets bi-monthly. So why did Oceanside and Vista join? Each city has the ability to look at its own reasons and decision points for joining. The key points for Oceanside and Vista were to achieve its climate action plan goals. The cities in our service territory each have climate action plans. And among those, within those plans are goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. One of the primary functions of CEA is to procure higher content of renewable energy. As I get into a little bit later, you'll see the 3 products we offer have a much higher renewable energy content than the IOU, investor-owned utility, which in our case is SDG&E. The other reason is to provide customers with choice. So now you have a choice not only in your energy provider, choosing CEA rather than SDG&E, But you also have supply choices within CEA. So 3 different products of energy that you can select from. Local control was also very important to the councils of these cities, whereby the local board, the CEA board made up of council members, controls and directs policy and power procurement and program offerings so that the benefits, this last one, keeping revenue local, the revenue that is generated by the selling of the power is kept local and is invested in programs and projects that are responsive to the needs of the communities as directed by those member agencies, and that money is kept local for local benefit. So those are the key elements that were the decision points for Oceanside and Vista joining CEA. I touched on this a little bit, and here are the benefits of CEA in terms of cleaner energy. Right now, the minimum renewable content per our Joint Powers Authority agreement is that we have a minimum of 50% of the energy we provide sourced from renewable sources. That is known as our Clean Impact product. The default product is 75% carbon free. That's called Clean Impact Plus. And I call it the default product because that is the product that each member agency elected to enroll its customers in to start the program. And then customers have the ability to opt up to 100% renewable energy option known as the Green Impact product. As I mentioned, the customers, businesses, residents have the ability to choose among those 3 power supply options. And Oceanside and Vista, as I mentioned, as with all the other member agencies, opted for the 75% carbon-free energy product as the default energy product. Again, the local control is a benefit for CEA. The board is comprised of city council members. We have no shareholders. As I mentioned, we're a nonprofit, and we respond directly to the interests of the board, its members, and the communities they serve. And so revenues are reinvested into local programs to benefit CEA communities. As I mentioned, we are a nonprofit partner in achieving climate action plan goals that are important to these member agencies. So what are some of the programs that CEA offers? Right now, we have a Green Impact Champion program that recognizes those who choose to enroll in 100% renewable energy. That's known as the Green Impact product. We provide customers who do so, both residential and commercial or businesses who opt up to 100% with a Green Impact window claim to many businesses in the service territory are very environmentally proactive and conscious about making sure that the energy we provide is green and clean energy. And so this window claim is a way of expressing that partnership. There's also business recognition benefits. We provide a Green Impact Champion directory, and we will also list those businesses on our website with links to the businesses as another benefit. That program launched this month. Another program launching this month is our Solar Plus program. It is a Solar Plus battery program. This is intended to get those who are interested into a solar PV system with a Tesla battery power wall. So this program is being rolled out this month. There are $0 upfront costs, $0 in upfront cost. In order to make this appealing and attractive to all members or customers within our territory, residential customers, there's also no credit check requirement for this program. It's available to all residential customers, and there are no operational or maintenance costs to the customers. They are provided by the partner that we have contracted with, and commercial customer availability will be coming soon. So at this point, this is a residential program, and it is a program that is intended to get people into a system without that exorbitant upfront cost that can be intimidating to customers who would otherwise like to have a solar system with a battery. Other programs that we're currently launching or looking into are the local solar program that's coming in the next couple months here. This is a small community scale local solar battery project program where we're looking to develop microgrid energy, distributed energy projects throughout the service territory. We've got quite a few interested parties who've come to us looking to partner with us in this potential effort. So that's a key program we're working on. And right now we also have the Ohm Connect program, which you can enroll in on the CEA website at thecleanenergyalliance.org under programs. And this is an energy management program which can help you not only save money on your energy costs, but earn rewards while you do so through an app that Ohm Connect provides. So something that we have partnered with Ohm Connect on. Now, I know I've seen a couple of the questions already coming in, and we often get costs or questions about CEA costs. And I want to preface these next few slides by saying that energy costs can be extremely volatile and move all over the place in the market. However, one of the key objectives of CEA is to keep rates stable, rate stability, so that customers know on a biannual basis what their rates will be. And we have a winter rate, just like SDG&E does typically, and a summer rate. Where we differ is that we try to keep those rates constant with as few rate changes as possible during the year. So since its inception in 2020, 2021, CEA has actually saved its average typical residential customer, and this is on a TOU DR1 rate. TOU stands for time of use. DR1 rate. It's the by far the highest percentage of customer rate class in our territory, something on the order of 95% of our residential customers are in that rate class. So on average, up until December 31st, 2023, we had saved those customers $6.16 per month. Recently, SDG&E just dramatically lowered their generation rates right at the end of the year, even more so than they had predicted they would last November. So that is resulting at current rates of a slightly higher in the expansion territories we're talking about, Oceanside and Vista, of about $3, just over $3 per month for a typical residential customer. The good news, I suppose, is that at present, all CEA customers would be realizing an overall rate reduction in their utility bills due to that significant drop in SDG&E's generation rate. Now, again, our primary goal is to provide energy to our customers at competitive rates while providing cleaner, renewable energy to help meet our member agencies' climate action plan goals with the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, while also providing local programs that directly benefit our customers. So keeping that in mind, those are our primary objectives. To look at this a little bit for all the service areas, here's a chart that I'll walk you through. Again, this is looking at a typical TOU DR1, the residential rate. It's based on an average of 415 kilowatt hours per month of a residential customer. And you can see here in the bar chart that the current rates based on the SDG&E generation rates, and the question being asked is, okay, how much more would I pay with this with moving to CEA? Right now for Oceanside and Vista, you can see here that there's almost a 2% increase over the generation side of the bill from SDG&E at present. I will note that as of this month, SDG&E has already raised their generation and delivery rates for small commercial customers. And on average, SDG&E tends to adjust their rates 3 times per year. So there is a chance that SDG&E will raise their rates again this year, and these numbers would all change. So again, just keep in mind that while we try to achieve our primary goals, which are cleaner, greener energy and local control, local benefit to our customers, we may see a switching of this where, again, CEA has a slight rate benefit. As I mentioned, as you see down here in this note at the bottom, prior to the end of 2023, we had saved our residential customers on the TOU DR1 rate class of $6.16 per month. And there's a note here in the middle that the different rates that you see how there's different rate, either percentages of increase over SDG&E, are based on what's known as a PCIA charge. And that stands for Power Charge Indifference Adjustment. And what that is in very sort of high level terms is that when load departs from SDG&E and joins a CCA like CEA, what the SDG&E does is, because it had procured energy in advance of those customers leaving for those customers, it then works that cost of energy that it will no longer serve to those customers into this power charge indifference adjustment and charge it against the bills for the CEA customers. So it's sometimes called an exit fee for those customers that leave SDG&E. However, a PCIA is also applied to customers that stay with SDG&E. It's just they calculate it in a different manner. So that's why you see the different impacts to the different member agencies in this slide. Drilling down a little bit further, just to give you an idea of the variability of rates over time, as you can see here, on the left side of this bar graph, you see SDG&E's generation rates in 2023. They were higher than all the member agencies. The orange here is Escondido San Marcos. Sorry, the gold. The orange is Carlsbad and Del Mar, and the green is Solana Beach. When SDG&E gave its preliminary rate forecast for 2024 back in November, they projected lower rates, but still higher than Carlsbad and Del Mar and Solana Beach. And then when they published their rates on December 31st, they dropped even more substantially. Again, this is just on the generation side. And then you can see the different ranges of rate increase or rate above SDG&E. So on the top here, on the right side, you can see the average cost per savings per month for 2023 for the member agencies. And then again, what we just looked at, the extra cost for the generation with CEA. And again, time will tell if SDG&E raises the rates this year again. But again, on average, prior to this time, in the 3 years prior, we saved an average of $6.16 for our customers. So that really wraps up the bulk of the presentation. Available to answer any questions you might have. I would also add that we've got several members of staff joining us, and I'd like to thank them for being here. And we'll be out in the communities of Vista and Oceanside in the coming weeks, identifying or out at events to provide information to customers. One thing I do also want to make clear is that there have been notices that went out in February. They're known as a 60-day notification to let customers know about this CEA coming to town, so to speak. There's been a 30-day notice that are going out this month, 30 days in advance of launch. The launch is in April, after which there will be 2 more notices, a 30 days notice after the April 1st launch in May, and then a final notice in June. So for those of you who want to wait and see, you'll have 60 days following the launch in April in which to opt out and go back to bundled service, or at any time you can opt up or opt down within CEA's product offerings. So I just wanted to mention that.
Awesome. Thank you, Greg. I know, Supervisor, you have a few comments you want, or...
Yeah, one thing I actually forgot to say in the beginning, that for those of you that are here about the fixed rate fee based on household income that SDG&E is going to impose here, I guess on January 1st of 2025. We're not talking about that tonight. So we'll show you the fixed rate fee on your bill, but that's not what we're here. So Greg, thank you very much. I mean, it was very informative, good information. Just to kind of sum it up, from what my understanding is there is at this point in time at that 50% range, as you were showing that you're saving about $6 per household per month. And was that only on the 50%? Was also on the 75 and the 100? Are those variable from there?
Yeah, so that would be primarily, that's on average for all the rate classes, but it's primarily the 75% carbon-free product, which most people are enrolled in.
Okay, so as most of you can see there, the rates are fairly close, and at this point in time, the Community Choice Clean Energy Alliance, offers extremely close rates. The only change that you're going to see is the transmission cost, or you're going to see transmission fees, and then also costs from the energy provider on your bill. So we've got a different slide that showed the Miles, if you could put it up for the different costs. There you go. I don't know, we had this, and I hope this is precise, or this is close here, Greg, in what we had seen. SDG&E currently is offering about 44, I guess you said even 48% renewable at this point in time. And we got this information where your average bill, for the average customer, I guess, it was $207 a month. And then if you go with the Clean Energy Alliance, 50% renewable, it's about $205, a little bit cheaper. And then if you go with the 100%, it's like $2 more per month in the for the 100%. But if you do nothing, you're going to be switched over to the Clean Energy Alliance at 75%. So we didn't have that column here, but you can see the difference between the 75% and the 100% in this chart. These were as of February 21st, over a year ago, or I'm sorry, February 1st, a year ago. It's going to be roughly the same, about the 207 at the 275, or at the 75% renewable from the chart that we have. You're going to get the same SDG&E bill that you've always gotten. Greg had mentioned that. Can we bring that up? So this is your SDG&E bill. And if you can see the yellow part, that's the little arrows running across, there's a line item that says the CCA, but in this case, it's the Clean Energy Alliance generation. So there's your electric delivery fee in that chart there as well, just above the yellowed out, the electric delivery fee, which is basically the SDG&E fee, and then the electrical generation, which is the Clean Energy Alliance fee, or if you belong to a different entity, that's the fee. That's so your SDG&E bill is going to look the same, just going to have that line item on there. And do we have another slide on that SDG&E? Oh, okay, that's the, this is the information we're putting up there if you want to opt out, or if you got more questions to contact, I think, is this SDG&E's? SDG&E, if you want to get information there, or how to opt out. And also, if we have more, we have this slide up here if you got more questions that we don't get to today for the both the Clean Energy Alliance and for San Diego Gas and Electric. And I don't know, Greg, you correct me if I'm wrong, but both the Clean Energy Alliance, the CCAs and CEA, you're attaining these cleaner energy goals prior to SDG&E. SDG&E also has to achieve the same clean energy goals, but what the Clean Energy Alliance is offering is you get to those goals quicker. You get to them sooner, and it's more investment in clean energy than in coal or other products that maybe SDG&E is providing. So it's you reach those goals a little bit sooner, and that's what helps the cities in their climate change or climate action plans and things like that to help further that effort. So it's, as you can see, that the money is pretty close, depending on which package you choose and what you're going to be opted into on the CCAs. But Miles, we got some questions. Have you got some of those, or they have a lot of them in one category, or what have you got?
Yeah, let me start with this. And Greg, if you can help with this, I'm sure you get this a lot. A lot of people asking, hey, I've got solar through SDG&E, net metering. Can you kind of just address that? Does it come over? What happens?
Yeah, thank you. And by the way, let me just also say that if you are a net energy metering customer and you haven't received your notices about this, our net energy metering customers will receive their notices 60 days prior to their true update and then 60 days after their true update. So we get that question a lot. It's, hey, I didn't get my notice. What's going on? And we ask, are you a solar customer? They say yes. That's why, because those notices are based upon your true update. But for those questions, so nothing about your grandfathering. As you know, there's net energy metering 1.0, 2.0, and now 3.0. Nothing about that changes. So you will retain your status in terms of when you had your solar system installed. That stays the same. Your true update will set you on that true update when you get registered with a CEA. And then one thing that is a benefit is if you are a surplus generator, meaning over the year you generate more energy than you use, we offer a slight premium for the credit for that surplus generation. We pay 6 cents per kilowatt hour on surplus generation. So that's high level how we handle our net energy metering customers.
Another one too, and I know you addressed this, but for those just joining us, if you could talk about, do people get opted in on April 1st? Kind of, and I know you just mentioned the 60 days, but if you can explain that again as well.
Yeah, so based on pursuant to AB 117, all customers are automatically enrolled sometime in April. It's not exactly on April 1st, but depending on when your billing cycle is within the month of April, you will be enrolled. You have the ability to right now, prior to April of this year, next month, or 60 days after, you can make the decision to opt out, opt up, or opt down. The opt out is really about the 60 days. If you're staying with CEA, you can opt up to 100% anytime you want, or opt down to 50% renewable anytime you want. So the 60 days notices or 60-day time frame grace period after April is if you'd like to opt out and return to SDG&E bundled service, then you can do so within those 60 days without any extra payment, which SDG&E would charge if you opt out after the 60 days.
I got a kind of a follow-up question. Let's say you decide to stay with SDG&E here in April, and then can you later on, maybe it looks better to go with the CEA, or looks better to go back to SDG&E. What are the rules about, I guess, bouncing back and forth, or is there timelines or things like that restrict people from moving once they moved or when the opt-out period is over?
Yeah, so if you have opted out of CEA and remain with SDG&E bundled service, and then let's say, for the sake of argument, SDG&E raises its rates in July, and now CEA provides a reduced rate. If you wanted to opt back in, there's a 6-month waiting period before the SDG&E will let you come back to CEA. So there is that delay, if you will, before you can come back. If you're a CEA member now and you come back and you stay after the 60 days and you decide, you know what, this program isn't for me, and you want to opt back to bundled service, I believe at that point you can opt back in. And there's also, if I'm not mistaken, I'll wait for staff to me in my notes here. I believe you can opt back into SDG&E at any time, but I think you might be put on a transitional bundled rate, which has a slight adder to get you back into bundled service. So it sounds like there's a 6-month waiting period to go in one direction, but there's not a 6-month period to go back to the CEA. Okay, so you can pretty much freely go back and forth or change your mind, and there might be a 6-month time delay between when you can do that, depending on where you're coming from. Which direction you come, yeah. And I believe we have a panelist, Barb Boswell, who's been the interim CEO. She might be able to provide a little bit of clarity on that. Okay.
Hi, good evening, Supervisor, and thanks for the question. So it does get a little confusing. So the 60 days before April and 60 days after April, customers can opt out, return to SDG&E, and can later decide to join CEA with no waiting period, because they've never been, they did it during those windows. Once we pass June, a customer can still opt out. And the rules are set by SDG&E. So these are SDG&E's rules. And what they say is that after the 60 days, if they want to go back to SDG&E, SDG&E wants 6 months notice. If the customer says, I don't want to wait 6 months, I want to go back now, they can, but they are put on what Greg mentioned, the transitional bundled service, which is a rate that's based on the market and not the rate that's necessarily published, normal rate published. Then they have to stay with SDG&E for 12 months. So then you're going to stay 12 months, and then after that 12 months, you can decide again to come back. So it does get a little timing wise confusing, but customers can always opt out. This is not the only time they can opt out, but after the 60 days, there's rules that SDG&E wants the customers to follow so that they're not jumping back and forth every other month.
Yeah, I get it. And it seems, okay, so it sounds like you can jump in and out wherever you want. There might be a fee though, if you do it too quickly. And if you wait the prescribed time, then you may not be paying that fee. So there you can go back and forth.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. The fee though is the administrative fee is, I think, less than $1. So the fee shouldn't be something that makes a customer, uncomfortable, that, they won't have the choice to go back.
Okay. So, okay. So there's freedom to move, I guess, back and forth. Okay, that's good. I see we got a whole bunch of people raising their hands. We don't have that ability to be calling on people. If you could put it in the Q&A, that would be helpful. So the raised hands,
yeah, and
we don't see everybody's faces, and we see the raised hands. So, Miles, have you got a better explanation for that? Or?
Yeah, if you're just joining us, and I appreciate you guys being on, put your questions in the Q&A down there. We're trying to get to as many as possible. And Greg or Barbara, one question we've gotten a few times is, where's the renewable energy coming from? If you can answer that.
Yeah, so we're active in the market and procuring energy. Our focus is to buy as local as possible, renewable energy. We have solar projects that we buy from in the state of California. We have solar projects in Arizona that we buy from. We have wind projects. There's really, most of the energy we buy is from this. If I had to give states, it would be California, Oregon, Arizona, Nevada. We've just entered into a geothermal contract for energy out of Nevada, or Utah rather. We've got wind coming from Arizona, as well as parts of California, and hydroelectricity coming from as far away as Washington, and also within the state of California. So really all over the place, it's about buying energy and having a diverse portfolio of that energy, and we try to source it locally for service to our area.
And if I could just kind of clarify, the electrons that come to your house, all of this energy gets put on the grid, and it's mixed with all the other electrons. It could have come from coal or from all sorts of different places. So what's coming out at your light socket, you really have no control over. However, I guess the benefit of the Community Energy Alliance is that it's investing the money that you're paying in cleaner energy throughout the country, and supporting those efforts. But it's not what's necessarily coming, the electricity that's coming to your house.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
One thing, yeah, can you talk about, because I see we got a question here, right? We've had blackouts luckily not last summer, but we've seen that as more and more people join you guys in the CEA, people worry about the reliability. Can you touch on that, Greg?
Yeah, so every load serving entity, and that's what CEA is, that's what there are now, I believe, 25 cities in the state of California, 25 rather CCAs in the state of California, is every load serving entity is required to buy energy, not only for regular providing the energy to the grid, but also what's known as resource adequacy. And what that is to maintain and provide for grid stability and grid reliability. Resource adequacy means that every load serving entity has to buy year ahead enough energy for the highest peak demand throughout the year, with an adder, I believe this year it's 17% above that maximum. So if you think about every load serving entity having to buy enough energy to serve its highest peak demand, plus that extra 17%, that's what maintains grid reliability. So in some ways, you could almost argue that the CCAs, each one being a load serving entity that has to have this resource adequacy on hand, actually adds to grid reliability. So that's the fact. That's a regulatory requirement that each of us agencies are required to do so that we keep the lights on. The other thing we do at a local level with these microgrids, while they may not create and generate a lot of energy for our total load, what they do also provide is that grid reliability, to have that local source of energy at our grid that can be fed into the grid for the benefit of its customers. So the other thing that a lot of renewable providers are doing these days is battery storage for that electricity. So when we go out into the market, we recently did, we requested that they provide renewable energy with battery storage, if at all possible. And that battery storage is becoming a key element of every renewable project right now, so that for times where the weather it's not as sunny, so solar isn't being generated, you have that backup power in battery storage for to help to make the grid more reliable.
Another question we have here are, how are CEA rates determined? Are they controlled by the CPUC, the public utilities, or can you talk about that?
Yeah, so our rate proceedings are handled by our board of directors at a local level. Our board meets monthly, the fourth Thursday of the month at Oceanside City Hall at 1 p.m. And rates are set by our board, members of City Council of the member agencies. We do not have a rate set by the Public Utilities Commission. It has been a practice for CCAs to index their rates against the IOUs, meaning SDG&E. So whatever they charge for generation, we tend to index our rates for that. But what we're doing as an entity, not only CEA, but all CCAs are moving away from that and just setting our rates for the service we provide, so that the rates are a cost of service established, and our JPA, the document that forms CEA and the bylaws for CEA actually require us to set rates sufficient to provide for operations, meaning the procurement of energy and the programs that we offer. So that's how we set our rates. We are required annually to file or publish a joint rate comparison. Usually comes out in about July. And that shows our rate structure and an average cost of a bill. I believe Supervisor Desmond was showing one of the slides you showed from that joint rate comparison from last year that shows how the rates compare to our IOU, SDG&E. So our rates are not set by the PUC. However, because we do index them to SDG&E, there is a sort of nuanced relationship to those rates. Yeah, this is part of our joint rate comparison from last year.
Yeah, and I know some people still just joining us, and they, the kind of the $1 million question of, does this save me money? And you can talk about that for those just joining us, if you don't mind. I know you spoke about that, but if you can go into that again. Right.
So this is from last year. I want to underscore that this is from last year's rate structure and our joint rate comparison. Last year, yes, customers were saving money on a monthly basis, and on average, since its inception in 2021, our customers have saved an average. Residential ratepayers have saved an average of $6.16 per month with CEA. However, SDG&E just dramatically lowered its generation rates. And keep in mind, I like that you put up a bill, because it is one bill. The generation side of the bill is roughly 25% of your total bill. If you go back to there, you see it. That $42.50 on generation is roughly 25% of the distribution or delivery charge. So on average, throughout the year, most of your bill is being paid to SDG&E, irrespective of whether SDG&E or CEA is providing your generation services. So just wanted to underscore that. But as of January 1 of this year, SDG&E's generation rates have dropped significantly, although again, they were just raised for some customers this month. And so right now for Oceanside and Vista, customers would enroll and be experiencing about a $3 per month extra cost on their generation side of the bill. That may change as we go through the year. We may see SDG&E raise their generation rates again, and over the year, that benefit by staying with SDG&E may evaporate. It's hard to predict.
Thanks, Greg. One thing, and I'm not familiar with this term, but if you are, hopefully you are, power charge indifference adjustment. Does that ring a bell with you? Because we've gotten some questions on that.
I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
The power charge indifference adjustment.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? Some people have had some questions.
Yes, it's a pretty complex concept, but so PCIA, power charge indifference adjustment. Essentially, I would characterize it this way for CEA, is that the customers that before they leave SDG&E has procured power for their benefit. They've entered into contracts, long-term contracts, what have you, to serve energy to those customers. If those customers leave, now SDG&E is saddled with those contracts for that energy. So in order to what this is really intended to do is make the bundled customers that aren't going to leave indifferent, meaning their rates can't be adjusted because this load is left and they're sitting on this excess energy. So they factor that into this PCIA, and they sometimes call it an exit fee, to charge the departing customer, the CEA customer, in addition to CEA paying paying CEA the generation costs. This exit fee is applied, or this PCIA fee is applied to that customer to pay for those contracts that they're no longer going to be using. So over time, that PCIA fluctuates. Last year, for example, in Carlsbad, the PCIA was negative because the contracts under that SDG&E had for those customers, based on the market price of energy, were less expensive. And so there was a benefit. So that PCIA can fluctuate, but that's why there's different PCIAs for our different member agencies. I don't know if that clearly explains it, but think of it as you're paying for your share of energy that SDG&E bought for you, but you're not using. So that the ratepayers that stay with SDG&E aren't going to have to pay for that energy themselves. It's to keep indifferent the load that didn't leave SDG&E, the customers.
And that's primarily because you have to buy energy in advance.
Well, in
and
advance.
You have to buy it well in advance. And if people are coming and going, it's hard to judge that or break even, I guess, at least. And so fees have to be charged if to, I guess, balance out people coming and going.
That's correct.
This is really what it comes down to. Okay. Do you have any, Miles, is there anything else?
Yeah, and I want to note, because I know we have some folks joining us, maybe didn't hear the beginning, we're recording this and we're going to send this out. We got about 10 minutes left. And so keep asking your questions. But again, we're going to send this out if you missed the first part, and feel free to share it with anyone. One of the things, I see a question here, and I don't know if Barbara or Greg, if I have solar, do I have to wait until my true up month to switch?
Yes. The short answer is yes. When you will be notified as a solar customer, net energy metering customer, your notification process will start in around the time of your true up. So 60 days before your true up date, and then you'll have the 60 days grace period after that true up date in which to opt out if you choose to do so. So that's why net energy metering customers get their notices at different times throughout the year. So if you haven't gotten yours yet and you're a net energy metering customer, you'll get it preceding and following your true update.
Are the net energy metering customers going to have the same, I guess, options? In other words, if they do nothing, they're going to be opted in at 75%. And then they can either opt up or opt down or opt out.
That is correct. They have those options. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And up and down means part of the CEA or part of your CEA, and then or opt out and stay with SDG&E. Okay. What else we got questions here,
Yeah,
Miles?
Greg, can you talk about, and I know you mentioned in your presentation, but people are intrigued about the Tesla battery. Can you just explain that more, or even the same thing again?
So we partnered with a group called Participate Energy, and they're working with Tesla on our Solar Plus program. It's a program to get residents who are interested in single-family home residents who are interested in getting into solar, the installation of solar panels and a battery, Powerwall, at no upfront cost to the customer. So that is there's also, unlike some other programs out there that are offering that same deal, there's no upfront credit check on this. The battery would be amortized on your bill over a period of time. It's $115 per month. And you don't have to pay for any of the maintenance of the battery, any maintenance of the system. And you're given a reduced rate of energy cost for a stable period of time. So you have stable rate, stability of rates, decreased rate saving on the energy, and then you have access to that battery. That's the key part here, is you can have access to that battery to either use the battery power during, say, the hottest month of the year or hottest day of the year where you want to run something that's important, or you have a blackout for some reason, which is not, I'm not talking about necessarily a lack of energy, but maybe a power safety shut off, if you will, if there's a wildfire concern out in the area. So that battery can provide great benefits in reducing your costs and convenience for the homeowner. So the program also has a buyback provision so that customers can buy the system at some point and get out of that the long-term contract with the provider. CEA is buying that energy that is generated from the home and selling it back to customers at that fixed rate, and we get the renewable energy credit, the discount. Basically that green energy is part of our portfolio for meeting our compliance standards. We have renewable portfolio standards that we have to comply with, and that helps.
And so to get those programs, you have to be with the CEA or with the CCA. You have to be with one to get those programs. If you opt out, you stay with SDG&E. I don't know if they have programs or not, but that's so you have to be part of your Clean Energy Alliance to
or San Diego Community Power. They have a similar program to this as well.
Okay. So we're getting low on time here. Miles, do you have one more question or?
Yeah, I saw one. Hold on. Do you true up with CEA or SDG&E?
You will. Yeah, go ahead, Barb.
Once a solar customer joins Clean Energy Alliance, so your bill has the two parts: the delivery side, which SDG&E handles, and the generation side, which is Clean Energy Alliance. So on your one bill, you will true up on both of those components separately. So your credits with SDG&E don't come over to CEA, or credits with CEA don't flow over to the other side. So you'll have two true ups, but it'll be on the same bill. So it'll be seamless.
All right. Well, say, Greg and Barbara, and I guess is Rob part of your team as well?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, this is informative and hopefully, to more people. It seems like people with solar have a few more questions than others, but this has been informative and I really appreciate you coming on and telling people what they can, what to expect. Miles, can you put that screen up again that has the phone numbers? At least I think there's the phone numbers and the websites. Okay, so if you have any questions, here's the number for SDG&E. There's a number for Clean Energy Alliance. And if you're in the unincorporated area, the San Diego Community Power phone number, if you have any questions. You can even contact my office. Even though we don't have all the answers, we can get you to the right people concerning the Clean Energy Alliance and the dates things are going to be happening. So I think the choices are important, and with the CEA's entry, you now get a choice besides SDG&E of who you purchase your electricity from. And you get a choice of whether you want pay for cleaner energy or not. So if you have any that weren't answered today, like I said, we'll be happy to help out. And I really want to thank everyone for being here tonight. And if you want to stick around afterwards, I'm going to tell you, if you're wondering what I personally am going to be doing, I'll be happy to share that with you if you want to stick around. But I just want to say thank you to our panelists for being here tonight. Thanks very much for all the information. Great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So Miles, are we about ready?
Yep, when you are, yep.
Mr. Howard here staying on, or I don't know if you
Right.
had,
Uh,
I mean, it's okay. We got nothing to hide here.
Right.
But so hopefully everybody learned a lot of what's going on here with the Clean Energy Alliance. One of the things that they mentioned, and I guess one of my concerns with Clean Energy Alliance is the makeup of governance. I'm in government. I don't trust government. And what kind of scares me is the board makeup of the Clean Energy Alliance. And that's primarily city council members from all of the cities that are part of the alliance. They're the ones setting the rates. They're the ones leading the charge on this. And they're all great people, and they're my peers. And but like myself, they have zero experience in buying electricity or being in the purchasing electricity realm or setting rates and things like that. So personally, I'm going to stay with SDG&E for at least a year, and just because the rates aren't that much different, and see where this really kind of falls out with. And like I said, the governance to me is the kind of the loose link here, and the fact that everybody on this governing board, none of them have any experience in purchasing energy, and this is a very important thing. So I'm going to stick with the devil I know with SDG&E at least for a year, and then take another look at it. So thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for checking on. Appreciate this is something new, and it might be exciting and great, but I'm going to wait it out a little bit. But thanks for checking out, for being here, and hopefully we got all your questions answered. And if not, call my office. We're happy to help. All right. Thanks, everyone.